might be time for me to get a Jeep. This morning we've been exploring the infamous Palm Bay compound here in Brevard County. Basically, it's like this real estate development neighborhood that started developing and then ran out of money. So it's just a bunch of roads with completely open, untended lots everywhere, and a lot of like off-road trails that have been formed over the years from people taking quads out there and Jeeps and stuff. It's been pretty cool. But you definitely have to be careful out here, especially at night. It gets kind of to be a crazy area. It's like the Wild West of Florida. A lot of people with guns and speeding around, partying, going crazy. This Jeep here has definitely seen some bullet wounds. Because of all the unmaintained areas and the brush and the trees and all this place is pretty well known for having some crazy forest fires and stuff, and they'll actually even do like controlled burns as well. So they'll take like certain areas and burn them like this, and then you get a lot of burned palm trees. Like a bunch of abandoned cars out here, and it's also really easy to get lost. There's all these roads and like cul-de-sacs and dead ends everywhere, and then some of the places the bushes are really tall and the grass is really tall with a lot of trees, so you're just driving around aimlessly. It's like a giant maze. That place was pretty neat, but you definitely see some weird things out there. As we were leaving, we noticed that there were a bunch of white, unmarked vans and trucks and like RV-looking type vehicles all parked throughout the area, and it was almost like they were planned. They were in specific locations. So we drove up to one of them and asked one of the guys what was going on, and the guy gave us the most vague response that I've ever heard in my life. He was just like, "Oh, we're just testing some stuff out here," and we waited like, "So what kind of stuff?" And he did not say anything else, so we just said, "All right, thank you." We drove away. We noticed that one of them had a small Northrop Grumman logo on it, so who knows what they're doing out there, but it was kind of neat to see it. So as promised in the last video, and by the title of this one, let's take a look at Dennis's 2015 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Edition that he's got here. He's got a lot of camper style Overlander modifications to this thing, so let's check it out. Like I said, this is a 2015, but he's got over 80,000 miles on it. He's driven this thing all over the country, been able to explore out west, and in May he's taking it again out there. It doesn't have any sort of crazy lift kitted on it or anything like that, but he is able to get pretty far off-road and take it to some pretty remote locations. The cockpit is mostly standard here, but he does have a few add-ons that he's installed, one being the iPad mount over here to be able to have access to an iPad. That also allows him to use GPS applications and stuff so that he can use them off-grid when he's traveling and doesn't have access to cell service. He's also got a CB radio here installed, and then above the rear view mirror he has some switches installed to control some of the add-ons. So he's got the LED light bar, the air compressor, the winch, his fridge in the back, which we'll get to in a minute, and then the zombie targeting system. He's also got a little readout here. It's tough to see with the glare, but it shows the power supply that is on the auxiliary battery that he has installed underneath the hood. Looks like the house battery is full right now at 13 volts. And then in the back here, he's got the camper setup. I guess you could say this is the kitchen, and then also he's got some storage for various other camping supplies, chairs, tables, pots, pans, stove. We'll get to that in a second. The main thing here is, I think, the fridge. Definitely one of my favorite features of the setup that he has. It's a big Dometic fridge, quite a bit bigger than my CF18. Pretty nice though. It's got a digital readout on it, so it shows the temperature inside the fridge from the outside. You're able to control it. He also has a remote that he can use up front, and he can access and see you know, what the temperature is inside and be able to adjust it without actually having to come back here. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Definitely a good sized fridge, solid unit. I've always been a fan of Dometic. Another cool feature is that he's actually got it on a sliding track here, which allows him to kind of put it inside like this and then take it out really easily. Very nice little setup, something I need to probably consider doing for some storage underneath the Element. Aside from the fridge here, he's also got a few other things in the back. Got a nice little paper towel rack there, definitely something that I like to have as well. He's got a fire extinguisher, and then a couple of storage boxes that he uses to store food, first aid kits, all kind of other things. He can pretty much put anything. These actually lock at the bottom, so they're very secure. And then he's got, you know, just this other one here. He's got a lot of camping style food, which I thought was pretty cool. He's always got it with him prepared just in case he needs it if he's out, gets stranded on the road or something. Another cool feature that he has here is this little drop down table. We actually used it yesterday when we were out by Cape Canaveral. We were able to use it to kind of make some sandwiches on, and you could do pretty much anything on there. Cooking, use it for extra counter space while you're making up a meal. Next to some of those storage containers, he also keeps this little folding table here, along with some cooking supplies. He's got a little 2-burner stove that folds up really small. Thought that that was pretty cool. Definitely takes up less space than the typical Coleman 2-burner stoves that I've seen before. And then he also has a 100-watt Renogy solar panel. That's a foldable panel that he stores right next to this table here, and he can take that with him on the road and use it to charge up his auxiliary battery. Speaking of the house battery, let's take a look underneath the hood for a second. He's got a deep cycle battery tied in with the starter battery. Obviously it's set up so that the alternator can charge it. He can also charge it, like I said, with the solar panel if he's going to be stationary, camped in the same area for a little while. He's also got an added air compressor system that he put in underneath the hood as well. That's there so that obviously he can run air out of the tires and then fill them back up, you know, when he's going off-road or switching back to being back on the road. I would assume, like a lot of Jeep owners, he's got a power winch set up here. I know that I've definitely had to be pulled out of a hole before by a Jeep, so definitely helpful. And he's also got an LED light bar, like I said before when we were talking about the switches, just running across here, and it's mounted to the windshield. On the back here, he's got a couple of things as well. Spare tire, along with this little shovel here and these Tread Pro recovery tools. You basically can use these to put underneath the tires if he gets stuck out in the sand somewhere. He also carries a 10-gallon fuel tank back here as well, so he has some extra fuel with him while he's out on the road. And last but not least, where does he sleep when he's out there camping? He's got this tent setup which folds down nicely on top. We're gonna go take a look at it inside. There's a lot of space up here. I'm actually really surprised. You could sit up all the way. I couldn't really tell from down there. This is the first time I've sat up here. He's got a little mattress pad. He keeps sleeping bags up here along with a couple of pillows, and you're able to open up all the windows and get a panoramic view around you. Obviously we're just in the backyard now, but if you were set up somewhere on the edge of a cliff or something, I could imagine that would be a pretty awesome view to wake up to in the morning. Thanks again to Dennis for letting me show off the Jeep. I hope you guys enjoyed the little tour there. It would have been probably better to have him show it off. He knows a lot more about overlanding and Jeeps and just being off-road in general than I ever will. But that being said, he did request to stay off camera like I said in the previous video, so I was just trying to respect his privacy as much as I could. He does take that thing to travel pretty frequently. He'll take it for like a month at a time and drive all around the country and camp out in some really awesome places. He takes a lot of pictures. He's into photography, so he has some pretty cool shots of places that he's traveled to, and he's really looking forward to taking it again off in the spring. Special thanks to Dennis and Susan for hosting me the past couple of days, let me stay in their driveway and showing me all around some of these beautiful areas in Brevard County. This evening I'm going to head towards the coast. Fingers crossed things are going to start getting good around there over the next couple of days, and we're going to get some surf, the main reason that we came to Florida in the first place. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.